Look, just tell them what to do.
Welcome everybody to another edition of Friends of the Arts Live, Redondo Beach. So today we have two of our amazing artists. We have Patti Linnett and Debbie Collette, which I don't know how you could have put two together with more unique yet magical names. So we're so excited to see you. DP Mosaics is the name of the company, and Patti and Debbie have been responsible for so much public art in Redondo Beach, so we're going to get a little tour of that today. So welcome.
Great.
Debbie.
Yeah, hi. Hello. Hello. So I'm here at our ocean steps down at the Redondo Beach Pier, and we're right here at the harbor. So I'll just kind of do a show around. This is the King Harbor. I'm actually on the upper walkway bike path, and then the harbor's right across from the ocean steps. And I'm right up from the international boardwalk, and the quality seafood is just below me. So you'll be seeing tons of bicyclists and runners going by in the walkway. This upper walkway is known as like the Avenue of the Stars on the top of the international boardwalk up here. So ocean steps, we did that in 2009.
Wow.
So we used, it was the first, what was exciting about it is that it was the first public art that was handled by our newly formed Redondo Beach Arts Commission. So we're very honored to be the very first public art chosen for that. And it was sponsored by the King Harbor Association under Joanne Turk. And they fund, yes, it was a wonderful experience. She had King Harbor and the association paid for all the materials that went into the steps. And Patti and I had agreed to volunteer our time along with about 50 volunteers to build the panels. So there's over 200 panels on the ocean steps. There's 23 steps. I think they're 27 feet wide, and over 1,000 hours went into building this. We were very lucky. At the time, there was Delzano's and Louis, who had an open banquet room that we were able to use when they didn't use it to build the panels. And we set up kind of a PR thing for the pier. Joanne had us taking in volunteers, but they also advertised, I remember an ad in the Easy Reader that was like, bring your family, come see the building of the ocean steps. And while you're here, take your time to have a lunch at one of the many restaurants on the pier. And we were constantly talking to the public while we were working, but also just a wonderful experience having the volunteers from all over the community, the art groups, support the project. So it was wonderful. And there they are. I should walk closer to them.
Yeah, that would be great. Be careful.
That would be great. Be careful of the bikes going by. So there they are.
Wow. Magnificent.
All the way up. Let's see if I can do a turnaround, just give you a quick detail look. There is, whoops, there's fish and waves all the way across.
Oh, spectacular. That must have been hard to coordinate, or how did you plan that?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Let's see, how did we plan this out? It was all done on to scale. We built each thing on fiberglass mesh screen. Each design had to be numbered and laid out, and it came from a drawing that we did, and we just broke it down to the steps and then transferred the design. So that was quite a long process, but we definitely learned from that process, and we were really happy with the results. So it was great. We had to break it down so the volunteers could work on each panel separately.
And I'm sure the
mosaic.
I'm sure there's so many volunteers who are part of it too, who go by it all the time and say, "I built that panel."
They do. They know their exact. So each one, we've kept the numbers of each one, and the volunteers knew which panels they had worked on. So from building to everything. So, yeah, they're quite proud of it. So it was wonderful. We had a great dedication ceremony with the city, and it was a very happy occasion.
That's a beautiful project. Tell me about the one that's behind me, the harbor wall. How did that come about? Let me move out of the way a little bit.
Okay, so excuse me, the harbor wall came about. Sean Guthrie commissioned us to do that. It's a private commission. He knew of our work, of course, and this was prior to the whole Harbor Drive being redesigned. So he was kind of ahead of that a little bit, and he wanted to get something beautiful along that wall. So he approached us, and his idea was to put images of things that we do here in the South Bay on top of the water. So not like scuba diving or anything like that. So we came up with 6 different images. One is this surfer that you see here. One is of a fisherman. One is of a sailboat. One is a kayaker, a stand-up paddleboarder, and then what's the other one? I can't remember. What's that thing called? The 3 paddlers in it. Anyway, there's 6 figures up there, and we started this in April of 2013. And as we'd get one figure done, we'd go install it. And then we'd start building the next one and go install it. So based on that, it took us about 8 months to get everything completed. And it was just really fun for us. It was an opportunity for us at that point to stretch our creative license a little bit and use some materials that were a little bit different than what we had typically used. And it was really well received. We were out there every day, and of course, being public artists, you get to interact with the public in really unique, fun ways. So we had a great time doing it. We would build it in the studio and then go install it over a course of a weekend. So
how long would one of the pieces take basically for you to build in the studio?
Probably maybe 6 weeks or so. Wow. About 6 weeks. And again, we did these on some mesh. So we built the whole figure, and then we cut it apart and pieced it back together to stick it up on the wall.
Okay.
And the length of the water feature on there is about 10 feet. And I think the images themselves are maybe 7 feet tall, something like that. So they're pretty substantial pieces, and the whole wall itself is about 190 feet long.
Wow.
And it's located right across from the AES power plant. So you drive by it really quickly, but there's also the bike path and skaters. You can see it. So if you're out there, I would really suggest go parking and get out and look at them up close. They're really quite nice.
Yeah, they're beautiful. And again, it's so fun to be around, the whole harbor area and see your art everywhere. So tell us about the piece, Patti, where you're located right now. Tell us about Sunset Silhouette. This is your most recent installation, right?
Yes, it is. This is located on the front of our Redondo Beach Police Station. I'll give you a little turnaround here. I can't see a thing. Okay, hang on. There's the McDonald's over there on the corner, and Redondo Union High School back there, and Starbucks across the street. And here's our library and our civic center, and then the front of the police station. and then this mosaic that spans this wall. The mosaic itself is 5 feet tall by 36 feet long. And it features 2 surfers heading out to catch the last wave at sunset.
Wow, so beautiful.
It's comprised of 12 panels that are 5 feet tall. They're 5 feet, and each panel itself, 5 feet by 3 feet. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm hot out here, but this is that's the end of it. And what we were able to do was this project was brought to us by the police department. I used to work in the records department here years ago, and one of the officers remembered I did mosaics, and she contacted us and said, we're looking to put something along this wall similar to what you did along Harbor Drive. So we ended up coming up with this design to fill up this wall. The actual wall is about 52 feet long, and our mosaic, like I said, spans 36 feet of that. So it was partially funded by the Public Art Commission and partially funded by sponsorship bricks that we offered, and those are located around the corner by the entrance of the police station. So sponsors were able to buy a brick, have their name or some kind of memorial put on it, and we were able to get it completed. We had the good fortune to work with Alex Goodbody to build us the framing for it. So these panels are not attached to the wall. They're free floating within this frame, because that was one of the constraints, is that the Public Art Commission wanted this to be able to be removed in the event when the police department relocates.
Tell me a little bit about the materials you used. You mixed some materials together, and there's a term for that, right?
There is.
When I was researching it, I found it. Hang on, I'm going to tell you. It is it STEM punk genre? Is that right?
Steampunk? No, this is
when you mix different materials and textures.
No, it's not really a steampunk genre. Steampunk involves more metal pieces, but this is just a mix of just different materials. You know, we use some glass gems right in here. We use some china. We use different kind of tile work in this wave. We just really wanted to have a lot of dynamic flow to it. So this is where, again, we got to exercise a little bit of our creative license by using some of these different and unique materials through here to create this visual interest. And it goes throughout, where we just got to add these fun little elements, you know, where's our cute little fish? There's a cute fish. So there's a cute little fish right here. Hope you can see him. Yep. And it just allowed us to have a really good time mixing in some of these different, am I there?
Yeah.
Wait a second. There I am.
There you are.
Mixing in some of these different materials to just create a lot of interest. I forgot to show you this too. Hang on a second. Even in the sandy areas, that's still me. We mixed some real shells. So if you're far away from this piece, you miss a lot of these details. You really need to get out of your car and come look at it up close. So
I feel that way about all of your work. So I have another one. I'm going to see if I can share my screen here and see if you can tell me. Can you see? Let's see. Can you see the
Oh yeah, I can see it. That's one of the Avenue A bollards. One of 22 bollards that Patty and I did between 2010, when we first started the project, 2013. And it started actually on the Avenue bollards. The Avenue A one that you're showing has, I believe there's 5, and they're on one side facing, that's the street side, is the ocean with the fish. Go on the other side on the walkway on the Esplanade, you'll see the sandy side, which got like the pork and the shells and crabs. So we started with the Avenue C, and this was just after the Esplanade beautification program that started in Redondo, and they commissioned several mosaics, and there's 3 in the walkway, but the bollards were part of what they wanted to add for the public art, and they were separated by each section because we had to fundraise for the cost of the section as we went along, which is why it was a 3-year project. So Patty and I would start on one section, and then it would maybe go over to fundraise for the next section. So that those avenues were the very final ones, and then the Redondo Public Arts Commission helped fund these last Avenue 8 bollards to finish the project. And it was very fun. Patty likes to tell the story that every time that we would be installing on some of the bollards, of course you're out in the public, so you're constantly usually explaining what you're doing, but a lot of times, you know how it is when you walk by something, you think something's always been there. So someone who stopped by and wanted to thank us for doing a good job of cleaning the bollards and mosaic. We're we're just now installing these mosaics. They haven't been here before. So it's always interesting. You never know what kind of questions you're going to get. But it was very exciting to be able to do that. And different public, the community supported the project. We had fundraisers, and then we had fundraisers with the art groups in order to get the project completed. So it goes from Avenue A all the way down to Paseo del Mar.
Yeah, and I never knew that one side was supposed to reflect the water side and the other side reflected the sand side. That's a great story. I never put 2 and 2 together like that.
It's the same thing, like you said, where Patty says you kind of have to sometimes get out and walk and see the details. And it's not like that on every single set. The Avenue C set has the enlarged version of the sea creatures, and then you're on the walkway on the Esplanade side, and it has the smaller detail of the creatures in the water. So we did that on those 2 sets. So the sunset bollards that are down at Paseo del Mar, we did kind of just the reverse order from the beginning of the sunset to the sunset deepening, and reverse the order on each side. So it was very fun and creative time for us to be able to do these. So even though it was 3 years.
Yeah, that's a long time. It gives me more reason to want to have a virtual walking tour of all of our art, so people can learn about all of these little intricacies that are built into the art that you don't appreciate if you're not speaking to the artist.
Right. We've been lucky enough. There's a gentleman who leads walking tours up a lot of stairs, and I think 2 or 3 times now he's invited us to come down to the ocean steps and talk to his walking group about the steps. So people know about it and they do come look at it. And a mosaic walking tour would be awesome. I'd love to be a part of that. It's great. Debbie and I, these projects just come to us. We don't really market ourselves, and we continue over the last 12 years. These things come to us, and it's such an honor for us to do this and give this to the city, to be able to use our God-given talents to give back. And it's hard work, and we grumble in the studio a lot, but we love it when it's finally up and it's finished. Just the feeling you have of being able to give that to your community, it's hard to describe that.
And I'm sure a big part of what makes it so rewarding is your interaction with the people who are walking by when you're installing it, and even if they think you're just cleaning it, to tell them you're not, you're installing it and you're the artist, and then to see their eyes light up, I can imagine that's a big part of what's so rewarding.
We had a fun thing happen when we were doing the steps. We were down on our hands and knees doing this really difficult installation, and a lady was coming down the steps, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And we said, "Well, turn around." And so she saw what we were doing, and she was just like, "Oh my gosh," you know. So that was one of the fun moments.
Yeah. You don't realize it unless you're at the bottom of the stairs, right?
Right.
Tell us how you two got together. You know, how did DP Mosaic?
Sorry, I'm moving over to the side. We have someone taking a picture of our ocean steps, so I moved aside so she could do that. So that's great. Let's talk about interaction with the public.
In a great spot right there.
Yeah.
Who wants to take the mic and tell us how you two met and how DP Mosaics came to be?
Well, I can start off. Patty, you can interject if I've forgotten something, but Patty and I worked together at Tulita Elementary School, and we, in talking to each other, and became friends and realized that we both had an interest in mosaics and had taken classes and were comparing our kind of feelings about art and mosaics at that time. So our school was undergoing a remodel, and there was a redone staff patio, and it had a blank wall. So we asked our principal if she would be willing to let us put a mosaic up on the wall. And she was trusting enough to say, sure, go for it. So we did this wonderful thing where we asked all of our staff to give us things that they might want to commemorate in the wall. Like even our custodian at the time gave us one of his screwdrivers, and it's in the mosaic. So it's 19 feet long by 4 feet wide. And we knew that we wanted to just incorporate our feelings about color and design and all the mixed things that were given us from the broken china. And then the teachers actually did pay for some of the tile that we ended up getting to use that. And it was definitely a stepping off mark. We realized how much we had in common with art, and just went from there. We had no idea. We had no idea at that time where that was going to lead us, but it was such an experience. It was about 4 months. We were trying to get most of it done, of course, during our summer break so that the staff could come back to this beautiful mosaic. But I think we went in a month or so into it, working weekends and after work. But as we found with each mosaic, it always takes longer than you think it's going to. So that was our stepping off point together, and we realized how well we collaborated together, that we just had the same feeling about, we were able to guide each other during design process. It was, and color. And Patty, who has a graphic, I should let her talk about that, but she has a graphic arts background, and I do somewhat also. We love design, so it was really a great experience for us, and obviously here we are now. So
I was going to add that kind of the inspiration and a jumping off point for that wall was at California Adventure over at Disneyland. There was this little ice cream shack that just has beautiful mosaics on it, and it's got a lot of dimensional pieces in it, little ceramic pieces. So in this wall at Tulita, we've got mug handles, we've got ceramic flowers on the wall. It's very, very dimensional, and it's nice because it's protected. Only the teachers can get back there. I think students would have a great time hanging on these cup handles and things, but it's got forks in it. It's got all kinds of crazy things. Again, seashells, but it's a very three-dimensional wall as well, and it just adds to the attraction of the whole piece.
Well, and it's also nice because teachers would bring in a whole classroom. Show the mosaic and explain the process. So it's an art lesson for some of the classrooms. Some out, no one around me, so.
I tried to get a picture of it to pull it up, and I think it's kind of too small for people to see really well, unfortunately. But it sounds amazing, and we'll make sure we include your website link on this on the video in the interview. What else do we need to know about you two? You're just so amazing. Everything you're doing is just fabulous.
Well, we're ready to get back to work, right, Patty?
Yeah. And I just, Mosaic's just like a culmination for me. I mean, as a young kid, it was everything art, you know. I knew I wanted to be an artist, but, you know, how is an artist going to make money? So I've tried lots of different mediums, and it wasn't until I took a mosaic class and Debbie, and I realized this is a possibility. And Debbie mentioned I had a graphic design background. I'd had my own graphic design business, and so mosaic just marries the two elements of color and design and shape, and like, this is it. This is all I want to do. I still don't feel like I can draw or paint, but I can mosaic. So
you can. No question about that. Well, as a resident of Redondo Beach and an art lover, I have to say I am honored to know both of you and to learn more about what you're doing. I mean, it's so interesting. I had no idea. And the Tulita piece can the public see it?
No, unfortunately, it's inside a closed area off the staff lounge. So it's only been photographed for the public.
Okay, well, I'll have to make sure that we include some, I'll get some better photographs and make sure that we include them on the Facebook post and Instagram Live too. All right, well, thank you so much for your time today and for being out in the sun and braving all the cyclists and everything that you had to do to show us your work.
Yeah.
So thankful.
Lots of bicycles. Thank you for having me. Thanks so much.
Have a great day.